This is Chuck Sachs for Indie Opera Podcast, and I'll be talking with Corrado Rovaris, conductor of the American premiere of Robert Carson's production of Britten's A Midsummer Night's Dream by Opera Philadelphia. Hello, Corrado.
Hello.
It's so good to get this chance to talk with you again.
It's a pleasure for me.
And congratulations on a superb opening night.
Thank you so much.
How did you feel the performance went?
It was really, I was very, very happy. Above all, when I felt the reaction from the audience during the performance. To see the audience so engaged for a Britten performance. You know, Britain, all the musicians love Britain. Mm-hmm. But sometimes the reaction from the audience is not always, you don't get the same reaction. But last night it was really an experience. You were in the house,
yes,
and probably you felt the same.
It was. I mean, definitely there was audience members who didn't get that it was a comedy. There were a lot of us who do. I happen to love this opera. And this was an amazing production of it. But I really love all the Britten operas because he sets, vocally, his settings are so strong and so clear. And they're so about not just the voice, but getting the language
I think
forward.
It's the perfect match between music and theater.
It is.
Every word, almost you don't need to look, even if you don't know the language, you don't need to look at the subtitles because he tells you the story so well. This production is
he
really
does,
good.
and dramatically, they're so clear and concise, and the music is supporting the drama. It's for me, a current British composer who is like that is George Benjamin.
I agree.
And who he collaborates with. So, is this your first Britten opera you've ever conducted?
No, I conducted Peter Grimes.
Peter Grimes. Well,
Yes.
That's huge.
Another. Yes. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I had in my life, really.
But still, it's Britain, so did it require more preparation and research than, say, a traditional canon opera score would?
You think, it's very complicated, and I agree, it's very complicated. But with Britain, he knows very well the performance aspect of the score. So he gives you all the tools to make it really difficult but doable. He gives you already all the indications to make it really... He knows both sides. He knows the paper side very well, but the performance side very well. So he gives you everything in order to solve every problem you can see of the score.
And this is also a revival of a pre-existing, actually a long-standing production. Have you ever conducted revivals like this before, other than,
Yes. But this is I've seen alla Scala the first time this production, but it's an almost 30 years old. But do you think it's a 30 years old production?
No,
not at all.
No,
it's so new, fresh, and what I like is that it's very simple.
Yes.
But it brings you in another dimension right away.
It is. It's because he didn't set it in a specific era. Design-wise, direction-wise, it's where it should be for Midsummer Night's Dream, but it feels fresh and modern, and even especially the direction and the interactions. But did you receive a production book for this at all?
No, I have to say I remember production because I saw La Scala, but then I went back to watch the video because there is a commercial video, and I have to say, usually you watch once, but I watched a few times because really every time I was discovering some details, and I really love this production. And I love, Robert Carson. There are moments like, for example, the end of Dialogue of Carmelites. I don't know if you have seen his production of that.
I haven't, but I
think it's one of the most beautiful examples about how evocative can be the music, but how a director can really get that suggestion and make it so special. I'm so fond of his way to approach this course.
And I'm going to search out some of his other productions. I'm pretty sure I just saw Mephistopheles
yes, of
at
course.
the Met, which is also a production that's been around, and yet it was never felt that way at all.
I completely agree. I think no one yesterday in the house could imagine that it's a 30 years old production. No way. It really is so fresh and so new.
So I was reading through the press release for Opera Philadelphia's 2019-2020 season, and you're kind of prominently featured in it. I mean, what can you tell me about each of the 3 productions you'll be conducting?
I will conduct Love for Free Oranges during the festival, and we talked a lot about this piece because I think it's a perfect perfect festival piece. It's really a showcase for a cast. Maybe you don't have a star in the cast, but it's really a teamwork. It's a wonderful showcase for the chorus. It's a wonderful showcase for the orchestra. And it's really a festival, it's a feast, it's a festival piece. It's something like it belongs to that period when there was this kind of circus approach. And in one way, what we want to do with the Opera Philadelphia Festival is we want to say what is opera now. And in 1920, 21, it was really, in that moment, it was to say what is opera now in that moment. It was so revolutionary, if you think Chicago, in that moment, to see something like that.
Yes, I would agree. But and I happen to love the opera too. And Prokofiev's orchestrations are still fresh today. They really are. But now you've got Verdi's Requiem, and then you also have a new production of Madame Butterfly.
No, Verdi Requiem for me is a personal really thing. I have been chorus master alla Scala for 5 years. And
yes,
Verdi Requiem is a little bit the signature piece for that ensemble. And we were performing very often in San Marco in Milan, where it was performed the first time. So it's a piece really that I have in my heart. I think it's a wonderful, in one way, it's maybe one of the most beautiful operas written by Verdi, which makes, it looks stupid, but it's very, so it's has a special place in my heart. And of course, we are doing Butterfly, which is a piece, an opera that belongs to the standard repertoire, but if you look at our season between festival and academy during the year, we tried really to cover all the aspects. So we have a lot of contemporary new operas. We are very committed to that. We have a Butterfly, which is a standard repertoire, with Verdi Requiem, which is a choral orchestra piece, and we bring it back solids that belong to our family, and we have seen them very often here. But we have also a Baroque, an early music piece with Handel. So we're trying really to give the audience a wide.
But you're not getting to conduct any of the new pieces, the brand new premieres this season.
This year, no, but I did every year. So it's important also to give our these opportunities. But I'm very fond of this, and it's our signature. And we believe so much in new pieces. We want to support new young American composers. We're really committed to that.
Well, I'm going to come down for it because I've read a little about production. I'm excited to see the visual part of it, but also with this Butterfly, you have an mostly complete Asian cast, except Pinkerton, and then there's a Sharpless, I think.
Yes, we try to, it's something we are very careful, and now when you present operas with that kind of problem, I think it's important to think about that. We had a very important input from the Asian community here, and we were in dialogue with them, and we thought it was a way to honor their concerns.
And there's no excuse considering how many phenomenal Asian singers from all the different countries there are now. They have so many amazing training programs going on there, or they're in Juilliard, they're in Yale, they're at Manhattan School of Music. There really is no excuse to be able to do that.
Exactly. We tried, we heard with Eri Nakamura soprano in audition, and we thought she was a perfect candidate to be our Butterfly. We want always to see also someone who comes here, and it's like maybe the Butterfly of the future. We did a few years ago, with the same, and Brian Himmel is coming back. He studied at AVA. We're always very sensitive to when we have seen this kind of talent coming from Curtis and AVA. He has been here on our stage for Bohème, and to have him back, it's a wonderful honor for us.
And so next season is also your 20th anniversary with the company. How's that being celebrated?
It's 20 years. I came the first time, not as music director, but I came here in 1999. And I will never forget, because it was my first experience in the United States.
And you were an emergency replacement,
Yes. It was really interesting because I remember my first day in Philadelphia was a complete disaster because I was in Rome, I was flying from Rome, and there was a storm. I arrived very late. They gave me at the hotel instead of a room, a conference room. I can't forget that night. It was really the perfect storm about everything. But from that, day by day, I started loving this city, loving the people of this city. Really, everyone has been so nice with me that I'm so honored to give back really anything I have to this city. I'm very grateful.
So, can you envision another 20 years here?
I don't know. But I don't know. It's really, but for sure, I will give this city anything I can in my humble, But I'm very grateful again, and I want to give the best to this city, which I really love.
You had a fairly busy 2018 conducting like 6 major productions, both nationally and internationally. Was there a favorite amongst those, and why?
I have to say, I love Philadelphia, and I have been many times in Santa Fe. And I don't know, maybe because I'm a European, but every time I'm in Santa Fe, I'm so happy. For me, the sky, everything in that part of the world is so unique, and that company has been so nice with me that really every time I go there is something special. But I have to say also, I did a wonderful production of Anna Bolena in Toronto. And for me to work with someone like Sondra Latvanovsky is such an honor to see this kind of. She has a special gift, and the moment she walks on stage, there is something special going on.
As she is, I got to see her do all 3 of the roles at the Met, and she just really brings a realism and an honesty to it. It's never, I'm singing big because I'm singing big and I'm on this. It's never, and it's, so do you have summer plans? Because I didn't see on your schedule, are you going back to Santa Fe this summer?
Not this summer, but in the very close future. Yes. Now, this year I promised my family that at least one summer, I have some festival, but concept, not because, sometimes you have to find a balance between.
So, a summer vacation, relatively.
Yes, no, I have to work. I have a very interesting recording, but it's not official, so very, very interesting. I will tell you next time I meet you. Very, very interesting recording. Yes.
Well, hopefully you can talk to me when I come down to see La Boheme.
Yes.
And so you're doing that next. Now you've done the score before, but how far in advance do you generally need to begin preparation on the score?
Well, usually I start much earlier. In this case, I did many times, but every time you go back, it's something new. Because already having a new cast, the score is completely different. It's what I love about that. It's really, and Bohème is really a special score, I think. If you want to really respect, I think everything is there, but you have really to work really hard to, for example, to build the chemistry between the 4 guys, and you have really to create a unique intent, to have some chemistry on stage. And it's always very interesting that score to build during the rehearsal process.
Yes, I can imagine. Is there an opera or operas that are like on your bucket list and you haven't done them yet?
I'm so lucky that really the good thing about being music director, you can really sometimes choose, not always, but so I did a lot of what I like. But for me, for example, when we have something new, you see the baby, usually it takes 4 or 5 years to come between the moment you think about a new opera and the moment it gets on stage. And to see this kind of development, it's so rewarding and really. So I'm always thinking about the next opera in that sense, and we're so lucky here that we get a system to support that. Very healthy, I think, about that, and to help young composers, because we are realizing that it's not so easy for them to be in touch with the opera, of the making opera on stage. So we're trying really to give them the chance here to be involved in that process. In this way, it's not a surprise when you have to write an opera.
Well, it's been delightful talking to you again, and I wish you a great rest of the run, and I guess I'll see you in May.
Yes, with pleasure. Anytime, really. It's a really great pleasure.